Welcome to the Little Sparks podcast, your home for all things faith and music. I'm Cecilia.
And I'm Tara.
And we're former college roommates, professional musicians, and co-founders of the Hildegard Collective, a space for Catholic musicians to connect with one another and grow in their faith and profession. This podcast is an outreach of the collective, so if you're interested at all in Catholicism, music, or both, this is the podcast for you. Join us each week as we get real, share stories, and learn from other awesome Catholic musicians. We're all little sparks of God's divine creation, so together, let's ignite the world for Christ.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Little Sparks podcast. Today, we are throwing it back to season 1 and catching up with our friend Julia. We have not talked to Julia on this podcast in a couple of years, and so we are going to chat with her today all about what she has been up to, where life has taken her in the past couple of years, and what is next on the horizon for Miss Julia Janowski. So Julia, welcome back.
Yay! I'm so glad to be back. Full disclosure, we have talked with each other in the past 3 or 4 years. I haven't talked on this podcast in a while. So
Yes, important distinction for sure.
Yes, exactly. But I'm happy to be back.
And the last time you were on this podcast, we were audio only, and now we are audio visual.
It's true.
Upgrades.
Yeah, so we can see, our listeners can see your face for the first time.
So fun.
I love it. It's impressive.
Yeah. So Julia, do you want to give us a couple minute rundown about where your life has gone the past couple of years? Because you've had a lot of big changes.
Oh my gosh, it's been a lot. So I think we recorded in the spring of 3 years ago. So almost 4 years ago, which is crazy. And I remember I was recording in my old apartment in Boston. So that means I do not live there anymore. I've moved cities. But since then, I was through the end of my first year of grad school and had just performed. I remember I was performing in La Notte di Figaro in our spring opera there as Cherubino. And then that summer was a crazy summer. I traveled to Europe on a whim. A little eat, pray, love type of heart-mending trip, we'll call it that. Which was awesome for me. And then I went back to Boston for my second year of grad school, and that was just an amazing year of just kind of getting settled in the new city, I would say some more in a new way, and starting to feel more confident in my artistry, having new friends, all that. And then last year, I graduated, and then I worked as the director of admissions and music administration for St. Paul's Choir School and Parish in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which I was already working at singing. But then I ended up working there full time, which was awesome. And my sister moved, and we lived together for a year. And I had gone to a summer program, Seagull Festival, last summer, and everything. And then I decided to move to Philadelphia this August. So it's been a lot, to not only just to be closer to New York and professional opportunities with music, because Philly has a lot of that going on, but then also my boyfriend, who I met at Seagull Festival, who is also an opera singer. We decided to not be long distance anymore, and that has been awesome. So I've been in Philly now for 4 months-ish, and have been trying to find my footing and just get settled here. And part of finding my footing was breaking my leg. So really it's just finding one foot now. But I'm at the near end of that. So it's been quite the life journey, and just forging forward. So I'm an open book. Any questions? I'm down.
Yeah.
No, I love your attitude towards all of it. Just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe like you have like internally, like maybe you experience doubts, but on the outside, like exude all this like confidence about like, yeah, forward on, march on, like, like what does the future hold for me? Like, this is great, and I love it.
Yeah, trying. It's I think it's a lot of um that's not like a fake confidence. Like I don't want it to ever come across as fakey because like I do feel that way, but I think you can feel that way at the same time as also like having internal freakouts where you're like, what is going on? And you
Oh
scream
yeah.
into a pillow and you feel anxious. And that is also a real thing that can happen at the same time. Um, but at the end of the day, like I think the like God has just been so clear that he's been walking with me, even if I don't really know where I'm going necessarily. And I've realized more and more like that is the life of an artist, I think. That God invites you to. So that's been something like honestly in the past um several months that I've really discovered. Um
Hmm.
so there's been a lot of that. But with that comes like so much joy and consolation too. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
it's very much like a radical trust kind of vibe, where like when you give God this trust that is beyond yourself, and you just give him everything and just are happy to be on the journey with him, then like
Yes.
he reciprocates with radical consolation and radical joy and radical love. And I
Yeah.
think it's really beautiful to see how you are in a place to receive those things, while, as you say, also kind of embracing the dichotomy of being human and like freaking out sometimes, because it's really hard. Like that's a
It
crazy
is.
difficult thing to be asked to do, is
Mm,
to embrace both this radical trust and also the tension that can come along with that.
yeah. Yeah, I think something I was talking to my friend about this the other day. Um, and I feel like there's been a lot of things in the last 4 years that I mean, just so many things have happened that I never expected. Um, but I also did expect them, but it's like how they played out differently than I expected, I guess is more so. Um, and it's funny because I like, for example, this move to Philly, like so many things just I knew was like the right thing to do. Um, I felt like that deep peace and just like that conviction, just you just like you get that feeling or you're just like, yep, I have to do it. And you
Mm.
just and so when you get that feeling and then like a lot of little like consolations or just like little like the God wink, thing that people talk
Yeah.
about. Um and then you make the decision and then you do the thing and then things go way differently than you thought they were going to go. Like I broke my leg. I didn't get a job like job right away. All these different things that have been um up in the air or just different than I expected. And it was one of those things that I think that we okay, me as a human, I'm like, yes, God wants me to do this. And that is correct. But then I end up creating, like, being like, God wants me to do this, and it's going to play out this way, how I think it's going to go. But in
Mhm.
reality, God's like, I want you to do this. Yes, do it. But it's actually going to be different than you expect. And it's just that's happened multiple times now. And I think honestly, this is the first time I've been like, oh, God can call you to do something, but it might not turn out exactly how you thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
So, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh
totally.
yeah. Absolutely.
So that has been something of learning. And one of the things that I was, I mean, we came on here just to catch up, but I'd been thinking about what I would want to talk about. And one of the things, since this is a podcast about being an artist, or just about art and beauty, that I've been doing in the last now 5 weeks, ever since I broke my leg, is this thing called the artist's way. which I don't know if either of you have done it or
I
have
just finished
heard
it,
of it. You
actually.
just finished
I'm
it. No
really
way.
interested to hear your thoughts on it because I have mixed feelings about it. But I
Okay.
also, I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on it before
Yeah.
I share anything that I think about it.
Nice. So yeah, I was like, I think this is something to talk about, and I've loved it so far. Like it's been, yeah, like I think I'm coming on Tuesday. I'll be starting week 6, so halfway through. And for those who don't know, The Artist's Way was written like a while ago, like 30-ish years ago, I would say. And it's like a universal artist sort of thing, not like just for musicians. It's for like written art, screen, whatever. And it's essentially each week there's a new theme, and it's pretty self-guided where you read a chapter and there's a variety of tasks that you're supposed to do. Um, and I'm doing it with one other friend. Um, and like we're doing it at the same time, and we'll like send each other our at the beginning of the week thoughts and then like our end of the week thoughts basically, but not we don't like do the tasks together. Like it's all very independent. We just kind of use each other as a sounding board. She's also Catholic, so it's great, and a singer, so it works out really well. But then the one thing that you are basically required to do is these things called morning pages and then an artist date each week, where the morning pages is 3 pages of journaling, pretty close to like right when you wake up, or and then an artist date where you take yourself on some sort of like self-nourishing like artist experience. So whatever it can be. So like it could be going and reading a book in a coffee shop, something as simple as that. Or like today I'm gonna go see the Nutcracker ballet here in Philly because the theater thankfully is within very close crutching distance. So I can crutch there.
Nice.
And the ticket was like $25. So I was like, worth it. Um so um those are like the things that you're required to do. And it's all about basically artist recovery. So recovering from being a blocked artist and whatever that may manifest for you. Um, and it's interesting because now, like over the course of these last 4 years since we've talked, I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of artistic experiences, the most performing experience in my life, the most auditions I've taken, um, all these different things. And I think it's interesting how, like, slowly you don't realize it, but like you can start to sort of become a blocked artist. And it's something I didn't really realize. Um, but I think when things change in your life, like a big move, it kind of makes you be more introspective, and like you may react differently than you thought you would, or all these sorts of things. Um, and it makes you kind of start to really think really, really, really like even more deeply, I think, than one normally would. And so then I was like, I'm just gonna do this. And I found it to be really enlightening. Um, I'm only halfway through. It's a little woo-woo at times, but like I don't necessarily mind it. But it's all about like working in tandem with God the creator, who like is the source of all creativity, and how our gifts are basically rooted in him. She writes it where it doesn't have to be from a Christian perspective if you don't want it to be, but I think it's very easily applicable and like for a Christian perspective. Um, Actually, it encourages an artist, even if they're not Christian, to be able to really maybe encounter how God is the source of their artistic talents and of beauty in the world. It kind of encourages one to start thinking in that way. If you're already inclined to doing that, it becomes really obvious. But if you're not, it can be different. So yeah,
Interesting.
that's my experience. So Cecilia, you have mixed feelings.
Yeah. So I do think that if I was in a different state of life, that my experience with Artist's Way would be different because I'm a new mom, right? I have a baby I need to tend to. I
Yeah.
don't have outside help, my husband home on the weekends. I think my baby just threw something at the door in case the light picked up on that. And I think part of why I had a mixed experience with it was that I found it was very difficult to do some of the things that she wanted you to do as a mom, and she talks in the beginning of the book like, oh, if you're a mom, you can do this, just, hire a babysitter so you can go out on the artist dates and stuff. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
like, that's not really an option for me for a couple of reasons right now, so I felt
Yeah.
like it was very like, I don't know, even though she might have meant well in trying to include moms in it, I felt like it was the way that it was set up, depending on your situation, might exclude a lot of moms from
That's super fair.
that. And so I did one artist date out of all of those, and that literally involved me making cookies in the kitchen. So while my baby was around, where you're not even supposed to, have anyone around during these artist dates, it's supposed to be you. And, not that anybody can't be around, like you said, like reading a book in a coffee shop or something, or like going into a performance or something. But, it's a different experience when you're making cookies in the kitchen and your baby's hanging onto your leg than going and sitting in a cafe surrounded by strangers,
Yeah, totally.
So so there was that. I think honestly that was my main issue with Artist's Way, was that it felt almost like, even though I don't think she was intending it to be exclusionary to moms, I think it is very exclusionary to a lot of moms, just depending on what your state of life is like.
Yeah.
I did find some of the tasks that she had laid out in the chapters to be really helpful. That was for sure. I would be interested because I went through it more from the perspective of general creativity, because I've been trying to reclaim a lot of, general creativity in my own life right now. I think it's really easy when you're a new mom to kind of go through an existential crisis. Like, do I like it to do anything? What do I like to do?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the perspective that I was going through the book with, just like general creativity and whatnot. But I'd be interested to do it in the future through just the lens of like being a musician,
Yes.
and just seeing what comes up through that. I found, I guess, like a lot of the blocks that she talks about, I don't really struggle with when it comes to creativity in general, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I come from a family of musicians, and thus creativity was very encouraged. And a lot of the blocks she talks about in the book are like very much tied to what the people around you when you were growing up, said about creativity and the arts in general, which for a lot of people is a big issue,
Yes.
For me, it wasn't, because I came from this family that was like,
right.
yay, creativity, the arts, go into music, go do what you want to do,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I guess I also struggled with the morning pages because I have carpal tunnel, and writing out 3 pages a day is not feasible for me at all. Plus also sleep deprivation. I was never able to quite get it in the morning. It would be like, mid-afternoon, and I'd be like, oh, morning pages. It's not the morning anymore,
Yeah.
But with that said, after I finished Artist's Way, it was only about like a week that I did this, and then Thanksgiving happened. But I decided I was going to take like a modified approach to morning pages and see if it worked for me. And so I did one page. I did 1 page a day for a week. And I did actually feel like it was very helpful. I thought it cleared a lot of like mental gunk out of my head. And it left me free to think of other ideas and, come up with things. And I ended up coming up with an idea for like a book that I'm like, oh, I think actually there might be something here I could maybe write.
That's awesome.
So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know, whenever I have time, but
yeah.
But yeah, so
no, I relate to that, because like I've never been a journaler. Like prayer journals, even I've been like honestly only when I'm like really sad. I've been like, I need to write out everything, So this has been nice because it ends up turning into a prayer. But like it's very much just like it's kind of just like word vomit, and just like kind of just saying whatever, like blah 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 blah. And it's been nice because um it turns into me being like, oh, okay, God, this is just kind of my random thoughts. Do, 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 do. And um, I have found that to be really good, not only for my prayer life, but then also um, for just my processing of things. Because, like, one of the big reasons why I started it is like being a singer is really hard. And it's something that I was like, I feel like I really need um, to allow for myself to not become in a fight or flight state sometimes with singing and the career, even though I feel called and want to pursue it. But it's like it's just a lot. And there are times where I was like, oh, this isn't like right or normal, like the way I'm feeling about this, about, singing or my voice or whatever. And I'm like, this is something that I need to work on. And that has been good because it's helped me then just deal with stuff. And it's been in the middle of an audition season and like all these different things where then it's been like, oh, um, now when I have something that is related to my artistry, but also career and future, I can evaluate now and sort of understand my reactions and my feelings from a more like outside perspective and be like, oh, I recognize that I'm feeling this way, but it's not like doesn't have to dominate everything about how I feel about the situation. Or does it need
Mm,
to send spiral? It can be a, yeah, this really sucks. Yes, I feel this way, but actually XYZ, I'm really great at this. I, you know, I know as a child I love this, and so I need to cling to like that aspect of how I create, or like those dreams or whatever. And I'm still in the middle of it, so I'm still working through it, but it's been really good for me that way.
yeah.
Um,
You're on my
so
favorite chapters right now. Like 5 and 6, I think, were my favorite chapters of the whole book.
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So good for sure.
The one this week was about like especially about like what limits are, and how we often like limit God and what he's capable, like he's capable of everything, but we limit what we allow him to be capable of in our life. Like we that came out wrong. God can do whatever he wants, but sometimes we're unreceptive to it and he's never going to like, you know, we have free will.
Yeah.
So um so that's been just part of that has been really, really cool to like just kind of really be thinking about
Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, that has been kind of a big part of my artist journey since
That's
the last
neat.
4 years, like since we talked about it so much several years ago. So,
Oh.
and it's been, I guess one other aspect too is now, so also since my boyfriend is also an opera singer, it's been very, very, very neat because we haven't been doing it together. Like I'm doing this totally on my own, but I'm able to talk to him about these things as a singer as well. But then like as you've talked about, with like balancing normal life and like future life in all these other ways, it's been really cool because it's opened up a lot of discussions about like, oh, how do we navigate this? How do we navigate that? What do we want together as artists and also in life? Um,
Mhm.
with, all those things. And so it's been really cool.
That is so neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so neat.
That
It's
is
been really, really
amazing.
good. Yeah.
I feel like I need to go get this book now and do this. This is
I
you've
think
sold
you would
me.
like it.
Right. Yeah.
I
I
think
will
you would
like
very
add
much.
one more thing. Say I went through it with a friend as well.
Mm,
And she was the one that suggested it to me because one of her friends loves Artist Way and has done it
mm,
like 4 times now at this point. Um, and both of us had a very similar experience
mm,
in the Artist's Way. And I will say, like, because I had more difficulty than I think a lot of other people who have gone through this who are like, like Christian or Catholic and like, or like,
mm-hmm.
making, the connections that she's making with, God as the creator and stuff. I get so weighed down into words and intellectualism and stuff. Like, I would just be like, I would read a sentence and be like, this feels like prosperity gospel, and stuff like that, when like a lot of it is really, really good stuff. But I would just get,
Yeah.
I get myself so weighed down by certain things because I don't know, I love words and words matter a lot. But it can be a double-edged sword for me, and sometimes it can just totally weigh me down. And the friend that I was doing with was like, it's very similar to me. And so she was actually talking just recently with her friend who loves The Artist's Way and has done it like 4 times, and telling her kind of, like the things that she had troubles with The Artist's Way. And her friend was like, oh, I guess I don't read it that way at all. I just go off the vibes. And my friend told me this, and we were both like, that's so not us at all. So
That's so funny.
I also, like I've said, like, I want to go through this with the perspective of a musician. I also want to use that kind of like, all right, let's just grab the vibes from this. And I think it'd be a cool exercise for me, who gets so weighed down with like being intellectual about everything, to go through it from like a vibes only perspective. So Tara, if you do it, keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm maybe more of a vibes only person.
I think you are.
I lean more that way. I get less into, I mean, like, I guess in this, I haven't put on my intellectual hat. And my friend that I'm doing it with, she's also very like vibes person. So,
so maybe that's the secret then to like, if you like Artist's Way, and if you don't like Artist's Way or like feel kind of mixed about it, is like, whether you're like, let's get the vibes, or I'm going to focus on this like very academically.
Yes. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, it's very woo woo. Like, it is like, it's very like, but like, I don't know, like, I get it. When I talk about it and talk about my emotions or feelings or inspirations as an artist, anyone who listens, it's going to sound woo woo and like, kind of like, it doesn't sound like hard factual science, because it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. So that's how I've been able to like reconcile that. But what's cool with my friend who's doing it, she is like performing like just amazing. Like, just her career has really taken off. And so it's been very interesting for us to be in, our just similar but different scenarios and really help each other. And it's been beautiful. And really like really cool to be able to see what things speak to someone else. Or actually, we because sometimes it can get overwhelming. There's like 13 or whatever tasks sometimes at the end of a chapter, and sometimes I have time for it, sometimes I don't. But we decide we would do the morning pages, artist state, and one task at least throughout the week. And so like last week, I did every task she didn't do, and she did every task I didn't do.
That's fun.
Yes, but not on purpose. It just happened that way because of what we were gravitated towards. And so when we did our reflections back to each other, she was saying like these different things that, came to her, like happened to her in her end of the week reflection. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have like, mine was so different because I like didn't do those tasks. So I didn't feel drawn to those ones. So it's really interesting to see like how it becomes very, very individualized.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
Tara,
it's
you
really
should
cool.
do it.
You should
definitely do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've sold me. I don't think I need to hear anymore. I feel like I'm at a very interesting place right now with music, and like I'm kind of on the verge of a very big shift in my life. And I've been thinking a lot about how that's going to look in terms of my identity as an artist, and like what does this mean? What sort of doors are closing? What sort of doors are opening up?
Yeah.
And a lot has kind of been coming to light to me as well recently, like about my voice. I've like had some vocal issues I've been dealing with that I've been trying to get help for, but I've also felt like a huge amount of shame and embarrassment around. And it's like, I don't know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on up here and in here. So
Yeah, artistry would be good for you.
Yeah, I think
Tara, I relate.
I do
Deeply.
think like everything that you've said talking about this book and what it is and the journey that you both respectively have been on with this book, I'm like, I feel like this is the Holy Spirit knocking on my heart right now, being like, hello, it's almost Christmas. Here's a gift for you.
Well, that's what happened is like my friend posted it and I'd just broken my leg and it was just, there's so much.
Yeah.
And I just felt like God was like, da 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 da, you need to do this right now. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that stuck out to me about it is, like, as you both know, I have a lot of issues with friends. I have a lot of wounds from friendships that are very deep, that have been super, super difficult for me to overcome, especially in the last couple of years. And I feel like recently I've really been trying to make more of an effort to overcome those things because, like, I am not going to be like in this country for very much longer, and I don't want to like waste the beautiful people that God has put in my life here. I want to really be able to pour into that and not allow my own wounds and my own anxieties to like hold me back. But that's been really hard. And I feel like if this book, in addition to helping me with all of my artistic identity questions, can also help me possibly deepen some of those friendships, then like that is actually kind of checking all the boxes that I would be looking for right now. So
do it.
I suggest it. I highly suggest it.
Do you want to here, I'll do it with you again, Tara. Like, because I just read it. So like I'll just read it again.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I don't know if I'm going to be very academic or very vibes based or somewhere in the middle. I don't know how I'm going to read it. I feel like my introspection is not usually very guided. Like it's usually just, I just do it myself in my own head and my own heart. And like, sometimes I'll process verbally with someone else, Dan or a friend or something. But for the most part, it's like all very internal. And I think once in my life, I used like a guided like self-help book for something when I was like in high school. So I don't know like how I'm going to respond to it. So I don't know. I'm really interested. I'm intrigued by the whole thing, all of it.
I think especially being a singer, because it's so tied up with like, it's so internal. I think it's incredibly like, it just gets so like intimate. And I think you'll find it to be very interesting with like how your relationship with your singing and your voice becomes. Like, because there is that obviously with instrumentalists and composers and all this stuff, because like everyone's creating something. But with being a singer, I think you'll find it'll be really like a little heart stabby at times. At least that's what I've experienced. Where I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I felt this way because of, XYZ. I did not, like, literally did not know that until doing this. Because when it's so internal and so like a part of you, I think it's really hard to get that deep without some sort of guide. I mean, I think therapy does this, like, obviously do this, but it's really hard to find therapists that are artists and get it.
Definitely.
I've tried. There's the arts psychology is like, there's sports psychology. There needs to be arts psychology, in my opinion.
We've talked about that a lot, Cecilia. Like art psychology. Let's get it out there, please.
Yep.
Yes.
We need help, people.
We do. Hear this, everyone. Institute this.
Honestly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
The other thing I will say is I've found a number of people who otherwise specialize in like art psychology or are themselves artists and psychologists and kind of understand the relationship between the two. But they're I have yet to find one who is also a Christian. Not even
Precisely.
Catholic. Not even Catholic, but just Christian.
Yes, I have the same.
And it's,
yeah,
you know, that makes the world of difference, because
yes.
it totally changes everything, your perspective on things, the way you can
Mm-hmm.
like communicate with them about things. And so
yep,
it's so true.
Yeah, that's the
Completely.
other like third criteria for me, is like, you got to
Yes.
be in psychology, you got to understand the arts, you got to be at least a Christian, please.
yes. No, because it's like, otherwise it doesn't, the worldview just, they're so misaligned. So it's just very hard to then relate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. So it would be fun, maybe in like 2 months, maybe not another 4-year break, but it'd be fun maybe in like, 2 months when I'm done with the artist's way, and also like hopefully I'm walking again. To do like a little check-in. I'd be interested to see, like, to be able to talk. Maybe Tara, you'll be in the middle of it, or it would be kind of a cool thing
Yeah,
to
and
do.
we should totally do like a follow-up episode to this, like talking more about Artist's Way and stuff. I think that would be fantastic. So let's plan on it.
Yep, I love it.
Thank you so much for coming on and chatting. This is so great. This is so great.
I feel like we hardly scratched the surface of
I know.
topics to talk about.
There's so much more. I was like, okay, either I like dive in and we're on here for like 5 hours, or I just give a little taste. So
I love it.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So shall we share what we've been listening to lately?
Yes.
Who wants to go first? I can go first if anybody wants.
Yeah, you go first, because I forgot that was a thing we're doing.
So now that it's Advent, I am finally in full Christmas music listening mode. The one album that has been on repeat in my house lately is Votus 8's Christmas album from, I think it's 2011. Like, it's an oldie.
So
and
good.
It's just, I mean, there's just so much beautiful music on there. I really like how soothing a lot of the music is, because it's very nice to have on in the background to keep a peaceful environment in my home. But there was one piece on there that is absolutely fascinating me. It's called Totus Tuus, and it's by, I think it's Henryk Górecki?
Yeah, Górecki.
Yes. I always never know if I'm going to pronounce these names correctly. So it's by Górecki. And he wrote it. I did some diving into this piece. He wrote it for when Pope John Paul II visited Poland. I want to say it was either the first or the second time during his papacy. Totus Tuus was his papal motto. Yeah. And Górecki wrote this piece based on his papal motto for his visit to Poland.
That's awesome.
So I was just like, this is so cool. And the piece is just beautiful. So yeah. That's what I'm listening to this week. It's so great. I would recommend listening to it if you have not already. So
that album is top tier.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Votus 8 in general, just
Votus 8 is top tier.
I got to hear them in grad school. They came through on tour, and it was just heavenly. Heavenly.
Yeah, I've gotten to hear them a couple times. I know one of the singers.
Neat.
And they're just so good.
Cream of the crop. Like, it doesn't get better.
Yeah, it literally does not. So, Tara, what have you been listening to?
Well, for anybody who has been listening to this like whole season of the podcast, pretty much all my recommendations have been pieces that I'm singing, and this week will prove no different. I have the first Christmas concert of the season tomorrow. Nice. So we've been doing a lot of work on this repertoire. And there is this piece, when we first started rehearsing it back in September, I really was kind of like, I could leave this one, not a huge fan. And it has grown on me a lot over the weeks and months that we've been rehearsing it. It is an arrangement of O Come, O Come, Emmanuel by Matthew
Nice.
Culloton.
Hmm.
And it's very interesting the way he weaves the kind of melody line and then all of the other parts that aren't singing the melody throughout the whole piece are kind of echoing the words Veni Veni, like over and over and over again, like nearly ad nauseum when you're singing it. It's you're like,
Yeah.
like everyone in the choir calls the piece Veni Veni because that's like feels like that's all you say for like the whole piece. And it has grown on me a lot because I feel like the repetition of that word Veni, come, is so tantamount to like what the season is all about, is like, no, come, like we're so excited about the coming of Christ and how much he means to us and to our world. Like, please come to greet him, come with us. And then so I feel like that repetition of that word in this piece has added a lot to its meaning to me and helped me like really appreciate it more. And then the one time everybody kind of comes together in this piece is when everybody says the word rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to you, O Israel.
That's good.
And so as I have really kind of leaned into the details of this piece, I've really come to appreciate it a lot more. And then when I've been listening to it, just to kind of get my ear into the harmonic language of the piece and stuff, it actually sounds kind of cool. So I'll credit where credit is due. Okay, it's grown on me. I kind of like it now. It's really interesting. So that's going to be my piece of the week is O Come, Emmanuel by Matthew Culloton.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love
Julia,
that.
what about you?
Can I have two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
Of course.
I feel like I've been listening to like a ton of music, different things, but nothing that's been like really grabbing a hold of me. But since I've mentioned I'm going to the Nutcracker later, I love the Nutcracker, like, Tchaikovsky and everything. However, one of my other favorite albums is the Nutcracker Suite by Duke Ellington and Slayhorn, Billy Slayhorn. And it is so good if anyone likes jazz and a really like wonderful, beautiful, just jazz orchestra arrangement of the Nutcracker. It's so good. I got to hear it live once at Berkeley when I was going there, and that was so awesome. So now I listen to it every Christmas, like very religiously. So I'll probably go listen to like the Tchaikovsky today, and then when I come home, I'm gonna listen to the the album,
Nice.
the jazz version. And then on Friday, I love this band. It's like experimental bluegrass, jazz, rock, whatever, called Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. And for years, their Christmas album, Jingle All the Way, has been one of my favorite albums of all time. Especially for Christmas. It's really objectively, it is so weird. Like anyone who listens to this and you listen to the album, you may hate it, and that's okay. I'm not gonna be like, you're crazy. I'll be like, fair, but also, open your ears a little bit because it's really cool. But it has like all different vibes, so many different modes. It's all like different arrangements of Bela Fleck is like basically the most virtuosic banjo player in the world, and his band of other amazing jazz artists. And like there's throat singing in it, like Mongolian throat singing. Which is like the overtones, they sing in the overtones, and just the 12 Days of Christmas track that they do all 12 keys and 12 different time signatures to go through. It's an arrangement to go through the entire song.
That's cool.
So like all of these things that I'm listening are maybe they're not as like, oh, mentally like, wow, the heart, like Jesus. But it's like amazing. Just artistically, it's amazing and really exciting because it just is so new and different. And I get to see them live here in Philly, on
That's
their Jingle
exciting.
All the Way tour. So it's their Christmas album tour.
So
So,
fun.
and the theater is like really close to me, you know, within crutching distance. So I'm so excited.
I'm so
That is
excited
so
for you. That
cool.
is awesome.
Thanks. Thank you.
When are you going to go see them?
Friday. Yeah. And I got free
Amazing.
tickets, so that's even better.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Yep. So,
That is awesome.
music friends. Shout out music friends.
We
So,
love music friends.
yep. So yeah, that's my two things. So if you want some jazzy Christmas kind of different, that's not like the typical, listen to Nutcracker Suite and Jingle All the Way by Bela Fleck and the Flecktones.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was such a
Thanks.
fun episode to record. And yeah, we'll definitely have to have you on back in a couple months to talk more Artist's Way. That'll be super fun.
Definitely.
I would love to. Thanks so much. It was so great.
Super great. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. God bless.
God bless.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Little Sparks Podcast. For more information on this podcast and our ministry, please visit www.thehildegardcollective.com.